Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
I'm not usually a hat fan, but wow.
Jeg vil ikke være en dagger.
I'm really sipping on that dumb bitch juice today, and
Yeah, I am. But you know what? Someday I just might grow out of that. But you will never stop being a jerk.
All chocolate cakes are good. You're a fascist.
it's hideous.
It's horrible.
It's home. Angry white boy, let's go! Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The heyday of the early 2000s that you thought would carry on forever. That's Chad Ekowitz.
And that's Simone LaRue. What a glorious time, Simone, right?
Was it? Like, all I remember of the early 2000s is some abhorrent fashion decisions. I remember people wearing leggings under dresses.
Yes, of course.
I remember, of course, lowrider jeans with the thongs sticking out. That was very popular. I remember Paris Hilton being a big thing. Britney had her meltdown. It was just like a very weird, very salacious time in pop culture. And I'm actually very glad we're out of it.
Yeah, it felt like, you know those really bingey years where you just like everything's off the rails, nothing really matters, and it's all just a weird fever dream. That's what the early 2000s were like. I mean, the only thing that I remember, and I guess that's just from like traumatic trying to block everything else out, was just flip phones. I just remember there being a lot of flip phones, and you know, WAP, not the song, but the internet service. Was a big thing, and trying to get WAP on your phone was really important, and yet it never worked, and you were never able to connect to the internet, and when you were able to connect to the internet, it cost an absolute fortune, and dads across the world were furious at their children from opening the internet on their phones. That's all I remember from that time.
God, I mean, this is like, you know, the dawn of the internet for our generation, right? So I had a MySpace.
Oh, dang.
I'm hoping it's gone by now. I'm pretty sure I had a live journal, again praying that it is in the wind. I was on Neopets.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I was quite hip.
Yeah, you were down with the times, yo. Like you were original content creator. You're the face of the 2006 Times Person of the Year cover. That's what you are. You could put that on your CV, actually. I think you should. I think that would be very impressive.
Definitely, with like a link to my old emo MySpace.
I mean, look, if any of our listeners are really good at the internet, and I say that
no,
like a 60-year-old white
not.
woman,
No.
go find Simone's stuff and just send it to us on our Discord, because honestly, I will pay you any amount of money that I have for that stuff.
Don't offer money you don't have, first of all.
I will go into debt for this. This is my new project. This is my 2021 project, is getting the old crap from you like that. Yeah. And talking of old crap,
for that.
talking of old
Great
crap,
segue.
I feel like that was a good segue.
Yeah,
what are we doing this week, Simone?
We're doing Dane Cook week. Look, in defense of, because we're a optimistic movie podcast, and boy, do we test it. I really did used to enjoy Dane Cook's stand-up comedy before I knew better.
Yeah, of course.
Because some of the content of the jokes is questionable.
That's very nice.
He did have very good comedic timing. He was a funny guy the way he talked. His jokes did land mostly. Like, he was a good comedian. I think like he operated in a time where his brand of humor was considered perfectly okay. And since then he didn't really grow with the rest of the world. I hope he's very happy now. Last I saw, he got a bunch of fillers. More power to him.
Yeah, he's looking rather scary now. Like, I'm not saying that he originally didn't look, he was quite scary looking to start with. These movies, like, just that we're doing this week, kind of exemplified sort of his he is the poster boy for douchebags. Like,
yeah. I mean, and it's a chicken egg situation, right? Like, was it the early 2000s that created Dane Cook, or did Dane Cook create the douchebag look of the early 2000s? We'll never know.
I think it got to 2006, and very much like Terminator, he just appeared out of nowhere naked and then just banged the nearest underage girl and then turned into Dane Cook.
No. You're probably right, though.
Yeah. So what we are going to be doing, good luck Chuck and my best friend's girl, because they were the ones that were palatable, which is saying something really. And I'm really excited because before we started the podcast today, you were really sort of comparing this to like your most hated movies in terms of like versus even talking animal movies, which I know for you is like a big thing.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see why this guy has pushed your boundaries.
Why are these movies just the line that I draw in the sand?
So what are you drinking? Let's decide who gets to go first.
Okay. So like I said, or I told you before we started recording, the alcohol ban has come back strong in South Africa, which was super fun for New Year's. But I do still have a little bit of alcohol in the house. So to that end, I used, my friend sent me a cute little gin taster, like sampler kit.
Oh, cute.
Before the holidays. So I'm using one of those gins. It's like one of these cute little 40 mils. So it makes exactly one G&T.
Perfect.
This one is called 4 Gin.
Nice.
I think that's what it's called. Yeah, 4 Gin. It's a local distillery. I think it looks very nice. It's a little pink G&T or a little pink gin. Having it with some tonic. It comes in at 43%.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so thank goodness it's a little one. Otherwise, you're going to get tanked again.
Exactly. We don't do that. And what are you drinking?
I'm drinking something called Alska. It's a Sicilian, cloudy Sicilian lemon, vegan-friendly premium cider. Which is
that sounds delightful.
Honestly, it's delicious. It's so tasty, and it's genuinely just like juice. You could just pop these so easily.
Yeah.
They're the most tasty things in the world. Yeah. And it comes in at a very distinguished 4%.
Oh, nice. Very relaxed. That's a nice day drinking lunchtime kind of beverage. You just sip it in the sun.
Exactly. Yeah. If we were doing your 21st again, where we were out at the beach, this boiling hot day, this would have been perfect for it. Just like 12, 15 of these would have gone down a treat.
They're not supposed to get you hammered, but you make it work.
Yes. Do you remember that was our mission in life, is just to make anything work for us to get us hammered. That's how we did.
We often succeeded.
I
shudder about the things I put my liver through.
It's amazing that we're still alive. I look back at that time.
I was reminded the other day of one time we had a house party at Tristan's house. Got totally like messed up, stayed over. We're hungover the next morning. Went straight from like being hungover at our friend's house to the beach. Like the only pit stop we made in the middle was like at a grocery store to pick up snacks for the beach.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not that person anymore.
No.
Because also I hate staying over at people's houses. I really, if I'm drunk, like if it's there for a party, I hate like crashing on someone's couch drunk. I hate waking up in a new house. I usually wake up really early. So then I have to like wait for 2 hours for the other person to wake up. My phone isn't charged. I can't shower because I don't like using other people's showers. I'm very particular.
I can see this. I can
and
tell.
That's not to say that my shower is like pristine. I don't know. It's my germs, you know?
Yeah.
So like you can't shower, you can't like go anywhere or do anything. And then they wake up and they're like, oh, do you want some coffee? And you're like, I actually really want to fucking leave, but sure, I'll have some coffee. And like, oh my God, you waste the whole day there.
Yeah.
And then you go home and like, there's nothing.
You're miserable. What are you going to do with like the 3 hours left, and you don't feel rested? You finally get that shower and like you've been dreaming about that shower like your whole day, and it's just not as satisfying as you wanted it to be. Where if you had gone home at a decent hour, it would be satisfying. That is look, I think there are thousands of people who listen to this podcast who would be agreeing with you about the shower thing. And in some respect, I do agree with you as well. What I'd like to do now is, if I'm sleeping over at someone's house after a drunk night, is I'll just clean their house. Fuck it. I've got nothing else to do because I'll wake up early, and they're really appreciative. It gives me something to do. And it just makes everyone like, at least if I can't clean myself, I'm cleaning something.
Yeah, I'll always pay for the Uber home, however drunk I am. Like I'm just not putting myself through that. And then I can't imagine waking up like deathly hungover, so dehydrated, praying for death, and being like, you know what? Yeah, let's go to the beach.
That is crazy. That is crazy talk. To go into that sunlight and have that heat on you the whole day and sand. Are you
especially
fucking
in Cape
kidding
Town
me?
with the wind? The water's not even refreshing. It's just trying to kill you.
Yeah.
It's no.
Not
So
worth it.
all of that to say, we're old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with getting old.
Fine.
And yeah.
And also, I don't even necessarily think it's old. I just know what I like now. And I'm not like so young that I'm like, no, it's fine. Yeah, I'll totally stay and have a coffee at like 10:30. I've been up since 6:30 and all I want is a shower. Yeah, I'll have your instant coffee with your long life milk. That sounds great.
That's what I don't understand. Like how guys our age can hit on teenage girls and go clubbing and stuff. Like, get over yourself.
Who
like
has the energy?
Why would you do that to yourself? You know there's really good stuff on TV, right? And you could go to bed at like a decent hour. Like, it's awesome.
The time?
Yeah.
I think they only do it because they know that like younger girls will put up with that bullshit, right? Like the younger girls will wait for them to wake up very politely, and then they'll like not judge them for the fact that they have one egg in the fridge and some slightly off milk.
Yeah, you have a good point. The standards are
girls
lower.
Who are 24 and over don't put up with that shit.
No, because you know, like you said, you know what you like and you know what you're about, and that's rightfully so. Yeah, I'm glad that we've transitioned into the fact that of the topic of women know what they want as they get older. Yeah, especially with the context of these two movies. When I was reviewing them and thinking about it, they're exactly the same. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, they're
to
exactly
go into
the same.
But you get to go first. So tell me all about Good Luck Chuck.
I would love to. This is not going to be a very detailed synopsis because I feel like they try to make a big story out of something that isn't great. Okay. Charlie, played by Dane Cook, endures a curse when he is much younger, and he is cursed to have it so that love falls all around him, but he never gets to experience it. He doesn't really know what that means. Cut to when he's much older and an early 30s dentist with his best friend Stu, played by Dan Fogler. Stu is a plastic surgeon and also a disgusting pervert. Charlie realizes that basically what happens is when a woman sleeps with him, the next guy she dates is the one she's going to marry. So women sleep with him and then they immediately meet their soulmates. At first, he's really resistant to this. He's like, no, that's not really a thing. But obviously, while he's still like rejecting the idea, he has sex with a lot of women because a lot of women catch on to the fact that like this is his vibe. Cue him meeting Cam, played by Jessica Alba. Cam is this cool marine biologist. She works at SeaWorld with the penguins. She's very clumsy, so obviously she's relatable and super beautiful. She goes out with Charlie after he insists again and again. They start really liking each other, and then Charlie realizes, hey, if I sleep with her, she's just going to fall in love with the next guy and not with me. So he really tries to put off sleeping her. He tries to prove that the curse isn't real. Once he thinks the curse isn't real, he does sleep with her, only to have it proven that it probably is. Whoops. So he goes a little crazy, trying to hang on to Cam, trying to get her to not break up with him. She's like, listen, I know exactly what you're doing. This is bullshit. I'm not dealing with it. Breaks up with him. He like realizes that he needs to like maybe work on himself and like let her be happy. He also tries to talk to the girl who originally cursed him, now a grown-up. And she's like, dude, there really wasn't a curse. Like, deal with it. He does the running through an airport scene, catches Jessica Alba, professes his love. They end up together. The curse appears to be broken. The end.
Good going. Good getting through it. What's your scene that could have saved this?
You mean my cliffhanger?
Yeah. What's your cliffhanger?
God, I mean, there are so many gems in this.
This movie is the funniest movie I've ever seen, so.
Okay, so the cliffhanger is this one, and it's when he's like throwing the frisbee back and forth with his friend, and his friend is just saying like, you know, how all women want is to settle down with a nice man and have a baby. That's, you know, women couldn't possibly want more from life.
No, of course not. I mean, you're 3 kids deep, aren't you?
And waiting for the 4th.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you wanted. I mean, that's why you went to university. It was just to find a good man. Find
a good husband to take care of me.
Dan Fogler has not done well for himself, has he?
I feel like it's a bit of a trend in a lot of like these comedy, like early 2000s comedies and rom-coms where like the main guy has a friend, like the main guy is already very problematic and pretty disgusting, but his best friend is like dialed up to 11, so that makes the main guy look much better, like, oh, at least he's not disgusting like this guy, but it's like he is still friends with him.
Exactly. You take on the traits of those who are around you, and they also make the sidekick character like fat and not the most attractive person, so as to make the main character seem, you know, decent looking, and, you know, oh well, at least he's attractive and disgusting instead of ugly and disgusting. So it was great. I mean, there was a movie that came out around the same time called Hot or Not, or The Hottie and the Naughty. And it was about Paris Hilton and her really ugly best friend, who was actually super pretty if she took care of herself. And like you said, this was that period of time where everything that mattered was just about whether you were hot or not. That's all that mattered. It was a very weird time in history.
It was pretty gross.
Yeah, exactly. And this movie encapsulates that in every single way. So
I mean, of course Dane Cook writes a movie where women are desperate to sleep with him, right?
Oh, did he write this?
I just assumed. I don't know.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, you're so right. I mean, and it's just boobs everywhere, just loads of boobs, right? Like an inordinate amount.
So obviously, it's just all the hot single women that want to sleep with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no uggos, guys.
No uggos. Come on. And then we're supposed to like feel really good for him because he has that one moment with his secretary, and when she's just like, just close your eyes and pretend it's someone else, and he's just like, I'll be imagining you, and it's like, fuck off. That does not make you a saint.
That whole scene was very icky. Because, you know, as much as like, I think the actress, you know, she did the best that she could. I think she played it very genuine, but ultimately the whole way that the scene was written and framed was, to sort of like make it comedic that this large Black woman was acting or like, you know, expressing her sexuality. Like she, you know, takes off her coat and she's got this, lingerie on, and it's framed very solidly, like there's no like male gaze or anything going over her. It's just like, oh, look at this, and you know, Dane Cook is like, oh no, and it's icky. It's really icky. They don't save it with that line at the end.
They try so desperately hard to, and it's a complete failure. I mean, I guess in if you're watching it in the time that it was made, maybe a different story. You might look at that and be like, you know what, Dane Cook's actually quite a sweetie. But in hindsight, you're just like, wow, everyone involved in this movie was a complete monster, and they should never be forgiven. We should have like a Nuremberg style trial for all of the movies and people who were involved in them during like the early 2000s, and just condemn them to death.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah. There was something else. Oh, that was the thing that like really stuck out to me about this movie and my movie as well, is the fact that no one considered the woman's choice.
Yeah.
And it's the most frustrating thing, because like Jessica Alba multiple times in this movie says, oh, you know, the curse is bullshit. She knows about the curse, and she's just like, it's complete bullshit. You're just like, the reason I'm mad at you and the reason I don't want to date you is because you're taking advantage of the curse. It's not because the curse is real. And Dane Cooks is like, nah, I don't think that's it. I just don't think you want to date me because of other reasons. And yeah.
She's very clear throughout the movie that she's like, you know, you're nice, but I don't really want to date or whatever, which really should be the end of it. Yeah. And then like, you know, he convinces her to go on this date, and then, you know, he acts insane.
Yeah.
And like, she has to be like, listen, I want to change my number because of how you're acting. Like, that is how crazy you're being. And then he backs off. Yeah. And he's still like, he hears word, not from her, like through the grapevine, that she's going on this trip to Antarctica. And then he's like, no, I need to stop this. He hasn't gotten any indication from her that she's still interested. She hasn't like texted him. She like nothing to tell him that this would be a good idea. And he still runs through, and it's so, neither of the movies that we cover really treat women like people.
No, the women in these movies are complete sort of robots who are just there to serve Dane Cook, which I guess is what he wants.
I guess.
Like, he wants to have sex with them and then let them listen to his bullshit and then just have sex with them and then fall asleep. Like, that's all he wants.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why like so many men from the early 2000s thought he was so relatable, because that's all they wanted as well.
Yeah. Well, what did you enjoy about the movie, Chad?
I really enjoyed Jessica Alba as a character. I know she was written very badly, but you know what? She did what she could with what she had, and I was impressed by that. It shows real good acting chops when you can take a script that makes you a sex robot and actually create a semi-authentic performance.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. In comparison to what we did last week with Mean Girls 2, where the main plastic, the Queen Bee, just phoned it in because she knew the script was just terrible.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Jessica Alba just being like, you know what? I understand what this movie is about, but I'm just gonna do what I do best, and that's act. So I really enjoyed that. What did you enjoy?
I thought, so my understanding is that Dane Cook and Jessica Alba dated briefly after doing this movie together.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprising. Yeah. Okay.
We've all made bad choices in our lives. So I think that there was some really good chemistry between the two of them in the different scenes. I think the moments where like Dane Cook wasn't like trying to be funny at Jessica Alba, and they just sort of like played off each other in the scenes were really good. And I wish that like they'd had a better director to make that happen more. And I thought the physical comedy was pretty good. I mean, the whole thing with Jessica Alba being clumsy got old really quick, but it was well done.
Yeah.
The like first sex scene between them where they're just like knocking stuff over and like falling all over the place was very cute and well filmed.
Yeah.
So like there are these little moments when like they're not trying to be funny or like they're not trying to make it like a good moment, that those end up being the best ones, unfortunately.
And it's because they're genuine. It's not like this forced thing. And I think that is the risk that you do when you write a comedy, is that you force a joke, which can be really detrimental to the overall story. And that's why I think we've become a lot more particular with our comedy in the late 20s, well, early 20s, because of the fact that I think people are understanding that comedy isn't just about forcing jokes in, or I mean, apart from some Netflix shows, I guess. I don't want to generalize too much and just say we've adapted, but I feel like we've adapted better. Looking back at these movies, I feel like we've grown as a society.
Totally.
Yeah. So what's your scene that could have saved this bad boy? Just the world's biggest eye roll.
I would have really liked to take out the bit at the beginning where Charlie's essentially like kind of sexually assaulted.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's very uncomfortable because like on one hand, they are the same age. Like, so I didn't describe the scene in the synopsis, but for our listeners, they're playing 7 Minutes in Heaven. You get 7 Minutes in Heaven with like the scary goth girl. It's made clear they're both 10 years old later. So like they're very young. They're just kids who don't really understand sex or sexuality. And when they're in the closet, the girl confesses that she's got this big crush on Charlie. And she like does stuff that she read about in her mom's Cosmo. Like she like tears his shirt open and like runs her nails down his chest. And Charlie's obviously very freaked out because he's not attracted to her.
And he's 10.
And he's 10. So it reads as very predatory. Obviously, it's not like, I don't want to say it's not as bad. Like, I'm sure it could have been quite traumatic. But they're both kids. Like, neither of them understand sexuality. I don't think she's being like a predator. I think she's just doing what she thinks she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And Charlie is reacting like any other person would react to an advance like that. But the whole scene is just a little upsetting and mean, especially because like she curses him for rejecting her.
Yeah, that's like, real problematic.
I don't love it. I don't know how much it contributed to it at all. Like, it might have been interesting if later on Charlie was like, oh, this is why I have issues with like intimacy and stuff, because of this like
That's
weird
clever.
thing that happened to me when I was just discovering my own sexuality. But obviously they don't bring that up ever again. So that was weird. I mean, he could have gotten cursed any other way. It was very odd and specific that they picked that one. I also would have just taken his disgusting best friend out of it. He was horrifying the whole way through.
Yeah, it was real gross. Like the whole thing with the having sex with a melon thing, totally unnecessary.
He's a plastic surgeon who does breast augmentation, and he's just like such a fucking perv.
Yeah, it's
so gross,
so sexually assaulty in everything that he does. Like it's really problematic, and you know, it just again goes to exemplify. Yeah, and I mean, it just goes to exemplify again what the early 2000s was like. It was this whole sort of like just finding this shit funny, basically. Which is really bad, and I'm glad that we're more educated now.
And he never sees the error of his ways. Charlie's never like, why am I friends with this monster? Which again, ladies, you can judge a guy by his friends.
Yes,
you
and
really
you should.
Can.
You should.
And you should. If a guy has a friend like this and he's like, that's just him, like, get out. He's condoning a lot of behavior.
Exactly. And also who your friends are also shows what you're going to be, what you are like when you're not, what he's like when you're not around. Because how he acts with you is going to be completely different to how he acts around with his friends, but his friends don't have to change because you're around, and they won't. So it's a really good indication. Guys, seriously, look at who you're dating's friends. That's the best way to do it. Yeah. My scene, I just want more autonomy for women, and for it to be taken
just
seriously.
In general, but also in this movie.
yes, just like that's my wish for 2021 in general, but it's also my wish for this movie. Yes. I just want like Jessica Alba's feelings to be considered. I want her I know it's not the point of rom-coms, and we wouldn't have rom-coms if this happened, but it just, as someone who previously was very bad at communication in relationships, as I'm sure many of my exes would be able to attest to.
I mean, same,
yeah. So communication is super important. So if Dane Cook had just come and been like, hey, listen, Jessica Alba, I'm really scared to lose you because of this stupid fucking curse. I don't know if it's true or not, but you know, I'm superstitious and I'm just really worried. And she goes, oh, I totally understand. Thank you for telling me. I acknowledge your feelings, but you don't have to worry. I really like you. I'm not going to date someone else. And if I do date someone else, I'm going to break up with you because of another reason. It's not because of this. And then they live happily ever after. Great. Easy.
I mean, because also, as with any relationship where you really like someone, you want to be like a good match for them. You want to like keep them happy. So the number one way to do that is to be like, hey, will you let me know if I'm fucking up? Or will you let me know if there's something that you wish I would do? Very easy, very straightforward. I only learned it later with Rudy, pretty much. Rudy was the first time I communicated stuff like that. And I apologize to all my exes.
Yeah, I would apologize, but I never apologized before, so I'm not going to start now.
You're not going to start now.
And
it's
all my exes just uniformly rolling their eyes across the world.
You know, because I'm still friends with obviously your one ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
We floated the idea, or we joked about the idea of having an ex episode.
Yes.
Where she comes on as a guest and my ex-boyfriend comes on as a guest, and we watch rom-coms.
I'm still all about it because I know that's just going to be a really, really poisonous episode.
Love it. If just now you'd been like, yeah, they just need to communicate better. And Kate would be like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, they show you want them to show emotions, but I remember for a year and a half you were like a robot. We even we joked about it and stuff. Yeah, it would be perfect. Yeah. God, it would be you would be able to hear the tension somehow through the episode. It would be perfect. So guys, if you want to hear that episode, let us know and we'll try and sort it out. We'll put it to your guys' vote. It's no longer in our hands.
Oh my god!
Let the fates decide.
And then I was saying Rudy should stroll on about halfway through.
Just make everything better.
Just really notch it up.
Yeah, it would be super fun. It would be like an episode of Ricky Lake. It would be perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, that's a reference.
I know, an early 2000s reference. Keeping it with the episode. Oh yeah. So, I know you love Dane Cook, so I'm assuming you would watch this again.
Oh, I really enjoyed the messaging of this movie. Loved the gratuitous boobs, the sex scenes, obviously women finding Dane Cook irresistible. Yeah, all of it just ticked every box for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the exact same way. He's what I try to sort of like emulate in relationships.
Your hair
in
is
life.
very tall today.
I need a haircut so very badly. But who knows what that will happen. Thanks, lockdown. Thanks, coronavirus.
Thanks,
So yeah, I did plan to dress like a douche today. I was gonna like get like a puka necklace, and like a
nice
really
V-neck.
deep V, like a really deep V. But then I thought, you know what? No, I'm better than this.
I am wearing a sundress today, so that is the perfect meet cute outfit.
It is. I wouldn't be surprised if you went running later today and a man suddenly
in my sundress and wedges.
As one is wont to do in a sundress and wedges.
She's so quirky.
Oh, yeah. Manic pixie dream girl. But yes, I completely agree with you. Let's never watch this again. Let's not recommend it to people. Let's just appreciate Dane Cook for who he was in that time and how much better we are. Yeah.
Moment. Yes.
Yeah. And we're better for it now.
Exactly. Let's just let it get buried in the sands of time.
Exactly. It's very much like a dinosaur. You wouldn't want one around today, but you can appreciate it for where it was buried in the dirt. Yeah. Nice. Well, shall I tell you about the equally problematic, if not more problematic, My Best Friend's Girl?
More.
Yeah, it was.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's wow. Yeah, here we go. Tank, played by Dane Cook, has a very peculiar job. Essentially, he takes women out on dates, shows them the worst time of their lives, and then they run back to their exes. Their exes, of course, have paid Tank to take them out on a date, drive them insane, and then drive them back into their arms. Tank's best friend and cousin, Dustin, played by Jason Biggs, is completely head over heels in love with this woman from his work, Alexis, played by Kate Hudson. Unfortunately, Alexis isn't as into Dustin as he is into her. So when he tells her that he loves her, she completely backs out of the relationship, ending anything that was more than platonic between them. Dustin, knowing that Tank is the king of bringing women back to their exes, asks Tank to woo Alexis so he can win her back. Tank agrees to do so. So Tank takes Alexis out on a date, but unexpectedly, she gets very drunk and, on the instructions of her roommate, played by Lizzie Kaplan, she decides to sleep with Tank anyway, despite the fact that he took her to a strip club and made her pay for everything. Tank, aware that this is Dustin's girl, and I say that with quotation marks because no one is anyone's girl. Oh, rage.
Very much her own girl.
Yeah. So Tank, aware that this is Dustin's girl, runs away. Alexis is rightfully confused by this refusal to sleep with her. Next day, after Dustin sends Alexis flowers on behalf of Tank to apologize for running away, Alexis phones Tank to shout at him and then ask him out again for some reason. After the next date, they start seeing each other, but only for sex, not dates. Tank doesn't tell Dustin for fear of hurting his feelings and ending their friendship. Meanwhile, Dustin tries to be the best friend that Alexis could ask for in order to win her back. Alexis is clearly not interested because she's having so much fun banging Tank. As you can imagine, this all comes to a head when Dustin bursts into Alexis's house and sees her sleeping with Tank. Dustin tells Tank to move out and that they are no longer friends. While Tank is upset by this, he still wants Alexis. The problem is, to Alexis, Tank is nothing but a booty call. After explaining his feelings to her, though, they start dating and Alexis invites him to her sister's wedding. In the meantime, because Tank is so confused about his feelings for Alexis, he goes to consult his dad, played by Alec Baldwin. Tank's dad basically says that Tank is a piece of shit and is no good for Alexis, and if he thinks that she can do better, then he should let her go. He knows she can do better, so especially because Dustin is waiting in the wings. At the wedding, Tank sees that the groom is one of his ex-clients, meaning that Tank actually went out with the bride. Realizing that Alexis can do better, Tank goes full kamikaze and turns into a full asshole, throwing up on the dance floor, eating the wedding cake before it gets cut, and showing the mother of the bride his penis. Alexis is very upset and obviously dumps him. He also calls Dustin and leaves him a voicemail telling him what he's doing and that he's apologizing for being such a dick to him. Dustin and Tank reconcile after this, but Tank still has feelings for Alexis. He tries to win her back, but to no avail. That is until Alexis hunts him down and they live happily ever after. The end.
What's your cliffhanger?
So there were, again, like you said, so many gems in this, but I had to go with this one. And it's the scene where Dustin first considers hiring Tank, and Tank decides to do like the full like, oh, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna like throw out everything. This is gonna be the biggest fuck up thingy. You like that scene, purely on the basis that this is what this movie was all about. It was a huge wank for Dane Cook to just be able to talk about it, like to make his own comedy and just freestyle his own brand of comedy.
He was allowed to improvise a lot more in this movie.
Yeah. This just felt like a Dane Cook sideshow. Like he had done his set, he had done his comedy tour, and now he just needed to try out some new jokes, and this was the perfect vehicle for that. Yeah. So thoughts? Tell me what are your general thoughts about this spectacular film?
I mean, so everybody in this movie is horrible, right?
Yes, everyone
like,
is the worst.
Even Kate Hudson, like I don't know, they try and make it out like she's a victim, but she's actually really not a nice person at all. So she rejects the friend. She's like, listen, like I just don't see myself with you right now. But instead of like doing the decent thing and being like, hey, like you go out on your own, I think we need to just like cool this off, like go a little bit no contact for a bit while you figure yourself out. She's like, no, we can be friends, which is very mean and very manipulative. And kind of a cop out, I think. Like if you're breaking up with someone, you don't get the best of both worlds. And then she like, this guy's like fetching her coffee. He's talking to her all the time. He's like going dress shopping with her. And she's like fine with it. Like at no point does she show any consideration towards this guy who she like dated. At no point is she like, hey, look, dude, it seems like you're really investing a lot of time into me, and I actually want you to like go out and meet other people. So like this isn't working. Like no point does she do that, which is really shitty.
Yeah. No, you're so right.
I don't like using the term leading him on, but like that is
look,
what
she's stringing him along. Like it's without question. Like what's it called? Like it actually has a name. Like they referenced it in How I Met Your Mother, where like they're stringing them along, and I just can't think of it right now. This is worse than the drunk description of the Bechdel test.
No,
not really, because with the friend zone, it's sort of like you're just placing them in that zone. I hate that term anyway, but like you're just like there's no extra. What she's doing, like you said, is leading him on and being like, well, there could be a chance, and I'm just going to abuse this relationship because I know that you'll stick around no matter what.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily blame him for like still being obsessed with her and stuff. Cause like when you do have such a big crush on someone and you think there's a chance, like, you know, I think we've all done really stupid things for people that we have a crush on, and we've made some errors in judgment, and all he does is like continue to be really nice to her. So I don't think he's the worst person in this equation. He maybe should have called it off when he realized that she was sleeping with his best friend, but apparently he like continues to be friends with her anyway and is just mad at his best friend. Like she has no agency in that decision.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Dane Cook is obviously horrible in this movie. He's just a bad guy. He's just not a good person. And his whole speech at the end about how Alexis makes him be a good person, like that's a lot of weird pressure to put on someone you're in a relationship with, and maybe you should take a moment and work on yourself a little bit first. It's weird that like his dad, Alec Baldwin, gives him this like whole speech where like you know, he's talking about Dane Cook's mom, and he's like, no, I knew she was the best I was ever going to get, but what I didn't realize was I wasn't the best she was ever going to get. And I would think than if my dad said that to me. The conclusion to draw is to make sure that you're treating the person that you love and you want to be with, you're treating them really well so that you become the best they're ever going to get. I would have thought that. I thought that was the conclusion.
Right. You are 100% right. Yes.
So I was very confused when he gets to the wedding. You know, he overhears Kate Hudson saying like, oh no, I think I might love him. And then there's this like really stupid vanity montage to the Johnny Cash song where Dane Cook is like, you know, smoothing back his hair and stuff. And again, throughout that scene, I thought like, oh, he's preparing to be like a really amazing boyfriend, right?
Oh,
to like prove
Simone.
he deserves her.
Oh, Simone, then, you innocent human being.
And I was just like, this is so stupid. Like, how is this the conclusion that you draw? I was so mad about it.
That is the conclusion you draw though when you are a piece of shit, like, and you aren't wanting to change, when you are so lazy and you don't want to change who you are.
That's true.
It's the same kind of mentality where you call yourself a piece of shit and just be like, yeah, I know, I'm just the worst, but you don't fucking do anything to change it. It's the same kind of mentality. It's instead of I'm instead of, oh, I'm gonna work on myself so I can live up to everything that she should have because I love this woman so very much. I want to be the best for her. You're just like, oh, well, I'm just a piece of shit, so I'm never gonna be good enough. So I'm just gonna fucking tank this.
The only possible way for me to break up with her would be to destroy someone's wedding and make it all about me.
I was so rage-filled with that. The only reason I find that scene semi-redeeming is the fact that he's, in my mind at least, I don't know if this was the actual point, but in my mind, the reason he was trying to tank that wedding was because the groom was one of his ex.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
That was my thinking, at least. I don't know if that's the case, because then Dustin comes in and he reveals the situation, because if it, like, whatever Tank was doing, it just would have ruined the wedding and it would have been fine, like, and then would have gotten married and like been together. But Dustin comes in and is like, oh no, Tank's a piece of shit, this is what he does for a living, and you know, your husband is the guy. So it's actually Dustin who saves her marriage, not Tank.
That's true.
So that's true. Yeah, he's just a piece of shit in this, really.
I would definitely want to know if a boyfriend of mine had Oh,
you want to know when your boyfriends manipulate you and play psychological mind games? That's crazy. Why would you want to know that, Simone?
Well,
why would you want to know about the abuse?
As a woman, you know that all I want is a nice, safe man. So obviously when I have a single bad date, I go back to the mistakes I've made previously. That's how we work. That's why
you're still in the same relationship you were when you were 18.
Exactly. Because people don't change, but I can change. I can continuously lower my standards until I'm happy.
Yeah, that's the message from this movie. Lower your standards, ladies.
Ladies, maybe have you considered you're unhappy because you want too much, like basic respect? Think about it.
Yeah, come on. This is on you. This is on you. But also don't think too hard, because your woman brains can't handle it. Just, think about it a little bit, and then,
think
about
go back to the babies.
Kitchen. Yeah, that's all it is. That's what you're there for. It is scary though. Like, let's be honest. The standard for men is the bar for men is incredibly low. I mean, I opened a door for one of my female colleagues the other day, and she's like, "Oh my god, that's the sweetest thing." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" I opened a fucking door for you. That's like the least a human being could do.
There's a great Instagram account that I highly recommend to everybody. It's called Awards for Good Boys, and it's just like little plaques and medals that have like bare minimum shit men do.
Yes,
it's like, yeah, well done, you
showered 2 days in a row, good on ya, well done.
Yeah, it's really good, it's really funny. I highly recommend everyone give it a read.
Okay, I'm very excited about that. That sounds incredible. So what did you like about this movie? What kind of stood out for you?
I mean, look, Kate Hudson is a very good comedic actress. We've obviously she's featured on this podcast many a time before.
Yes.
It's not quite as funny as How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which she is hilarious in.
Yes.
But she has like really golden moments in this. I really did like when she was really hammered and he took her to the strip club and she's actually having a bomb time at the strip club. She's like, wow, look at her go. What is that?
How could she do that?
Amazing. Yeah. Like, honestly, women supporting women, I think that's the ideal attitude to walk into a strip club with. Just, oh my God, you are a performer.
Yes.
That was very funny. The fact that like she just ignored Dane Cook trying to be a total douche, but she knew what was happening because she's on the phone with her friend later, and she's like, he's literally trying to be the worst person in the world right now.
Exactly.
So I thought that was a very good scene. Obviously, this is week 2 of us doing Lizzie Kaplan. So we've had Lizzie Kaplan in both episodes this year. She's always fun. She was criminally underutilized.
Absolutely. Should we just do movies with like Lizzie Kaplan in for like the rest of the year? Just somehow get Lizzie into every single movie. That'd be brilliant. Yeah, I must say though, like when with that drunken date scene where Kate Hudson's drunk and she's doing all that things, I just pictured you, because I can imagine that's exactly what you would be like completely hammered at a strip club, just like enjoying it, having the best time. Pop That Pussy comes on and you're just like, yeah, pop that pussy.
I would love to not go to a strip club.
That's
but I can enjoy a problematic song. I really do think Blurred Lines is a jam. If you don't think about it too much, it's very catchy.
Okay.
You know, I don't think everybody listening to it is like endorsing. Guys, just write stupid lyrics. Yeah, but if I were to go to a strip club, I feel like I would want to go to one with like great performers. That's why I like burlesque shows, because it's, you know, it's artistry. The boobies are really secondary, but also great. Good for you, girl.
I think that should be your review for every burlesque club that you go to. Like, amazing, incredible dancers. The boobies are secondary.
But great.
But excellent. Yeah. There were some really funny moments in this, like very, very rare, but they were good. I really enjoyed when Jason Biggs' character got his eyebrows shaved off. I thought that was really funny.
That was great.
That was good. And then the Christian date was actually like, she was so sweet. I love her as an actress. She's
from
brilliant.
Garfunkel and Oates.
Oh, she's perfect. And that whole scene, like her bit was nice. I know she was only there as a vehicle to like give Dane Cook a time to like being good and be a good guy and show us that he's not just the devil. But I thought she was like a really good feature.
That was a very genuine scene when they're like sitting eating like chips or something after like the mask has come off kind of thing. That was lovely. You're right.
So I think, like we said, for both of these movies, like very rare moments of gold sprinkled in amongst crap.
It's really sort of in spite of itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my question though, like for both of these movies, right? Like who are they aimed at?
That is a bloody good question, actually.
Because it can't be aimed for women, because it's not romantic in any sense of the word.
No.
I mean, I'm saying like women and men, like traditional, like Hollywood gender roles, you know?
Yeah, when these movies were made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's not romantic. It's not very nice. But then like, it's not, is it supposed to be like a dude comedy? Because it's like still centered around dating.
Yeah, I would think it was like, because obviously Dane Cook's fan base at that time was sort of 15 to 18-year-old boys. Like that.
Oh, and you know what?
His thing.
A lot of girls who were trying to be cool with.
Yes, with their boyfriends. Yeah. Oh, I love Dane Cook. I think he's so funny.
He's so funny.
I mean, you know what? I love
I thought he was very funny at the time.
Oh yeah,
no, your Axe Body Spray spells really good.
You're just so funny. Oh, your name Matt? Do you spell that with 2 T's? Oh.
Also, who names someone Tank?
Yeah, exactly. I think that was like a reference to what he does to dates, and it was trying to be really clever. It was sort of like Tank Everyman. That's his full name. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I think you're right. I think this is targeted at girls who had to be fans of Dane Cook because their boyfriends like Dane Cook. So it's like, all right, this is the compromise. It's a rom-com sort of. I have to watch Dane Cook because my boyfriend's obsessed with him. But yeah. We'll call that. That's what the genre is. Compromise.
And nobody wins.
Yes. So what is your scene that could have saved this one?
I I think nobody ends up with anybody else. They all learn their lesson and go their
Yes.
separate ways. Like, they should not have gotten back together at the end. Like, I don't understand why she chases after him. I don't know why she's like, oh, wow, he chanked my sister's whole wedding for me. Oh, like...
That's not a thing. Like, that's not romantic.
That's not a waving red flag or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think nobody ends up with anybody. They all start from square one. He's maybe a little bit more grown. The end.
Yeah. All I thought about during that last scene where Kate Hudson comes into the restaurant and they start talking about their bullshit and everything.
Yeah.
All I could think about is obviously she's thrown the red wine on his clothes and then she goes and hugs him and she's in that white coat. And all I could think was like, oh, honey, you're going to ruin the white coat. Stop. What are you doing?
If you're going to throw wine in someone's face and you intend to kiss them later, make it a white wine. Come on. 101.
I love you because I can imagine you in that scene just like kissing them and be like, Zinfandel, and then just licking their face.
First of all, I'd never throw wine in anyone's face. What a waste.
It's a waste.
And I'm not a lashy outy person. Like I couldn't imagine like that level of drama, like melodrama.
Although I feel like you would be remiss if you never did it at least once in your life, even if like you got the guy's consent to do it. I feel like it is a thing.
That's true.
I'll tell you what. The next time I'm in South Africa, you can throw a drink in my face. Just
but
whenever
it has
you
to
want.
be in public.
Yeah. We'll go out for dinner or something. Like you, Rudy,
awesome.
someone
Sick.
else, like our friends and stuff. And then like just out of nowhere, I don't want a warning. I just want you to just, like pick up a drink, chuck it in my face. Do it. Don't care.
I'll think of something really dramatic to say as well. I don't know what yet. I'm never going back to the circus.
Yes, that's great. That's great. Is one thumb not enough for you? Yes. Okay, cool. So we got a deal. I'm excited for that. I will come home at some point and we can do this. I'm very excited.
Excellent. Perfect.
Yes. My scene that could have saved this one is exactly the same as my scene that could have saved the last one. Just female autonomy. I love the fact that for a large part of this, Kate Hudson was in control and she was just like to Tank, you are a booty call. But at the end where Tank's just like, I'm gonna tank this wedding because, she's too good for me. It would have been great if, he listened to what Kate Hudson wanted and was like, oh, she actually loves me for me. So I'm not gonna be a dick. Yeah. Female autonomy. That's all I want, Simone. It's just female autonomy.
I know.
All I want. So would you recommend this and watch this again?
No. No. This movie felt very long and it wasn't that long. It just felt long.
Right? It just went on forever. Oh, it was exhausting.
And it's not very well directed or put together because, like I said, like I was very confused about the characters' motivations throughout. The story was very confusingly told. It wasn't a well put together movie even.
No, it was very haphazard. It felt bitty. Yeah. No, this is going into the grave as well with the rest of Dane Cook's stuff where it belongs.
Farewell, Dane.
Thank you, Dane Cook. We really enjoyed you for your time, and God bless you for coming to power at that point in time. Good on you. Good on you.
Good on you.
Well, we did it again, Simone, and I know you're mad at me, and I hope that one day you will forgive me. But also, we had to do it. You have to admit that we had to do it at some point.
I honestly had forgotten that he existed until you were like, oh, we should do Dane Cook Week. And I was like, awesome, great.
Look, it's over now. We never have to do it again. I'm never going to be like, you know what? Let's do Dane Cook 2 Electric Boogaloo. It won't happen.
You say that.
6 years down the line.
Yeah.
So, Simone, I want to try something different this year.
Okay.
I know we've already done one episode this year, but I want to mix it up a bit. We're going into the third year. I want to change up this segment a little bit. So instead of saying what is your optimistic thing for this week, it's still along that kind of line, but it's what are you grateful for this week?
Oh, okay. That's nice. Okay. A little bit of gratitude.
Exactly. The gratitude. Oh, so you watched it. It's terrible, right?
I watched it. It's great. I really actually enjoyed that season very much.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm excited to talk about it on the minisode, which will have already been out. And so this will be very meta
so you guys
for all
will
of our
have heard
listeners.
this already.
So yeah, what is your gratitude of the week?
Oh, it's gonna be the fact that I have a car and I'm able to drive it places. I think there's a lot of freedom that comes with having a car, especially in a country that the public transport isn't amazing. But it's really nice. Today, Rudy and I decided we wanted to get pies from a place that's like an hour away in like a really beautiful area. So we just did it. Had the pies, did like a really nice drive around like the Western Cape. It was so beautiful. And yeah, just what a privilege, what a lovely thing to have, and what a lovely thing to be able to do.
That's really nice. That's really, really nice. Yeah, good. Oh, lovely. I'm really grateful for sort of the sheer amount of ability to like get an education or learn new things that the internet provides and that we've provided and that kind of thing, and just learning in general in that respect. Because this week a friend of mine contacted me, and she was asking me how to do things on Excel. And I mean, I learned Excel from my father because he's like an Excel whiz. And it's just like, I was just really grateful to be able to help out my friends and like pass that education along. And it's the fact that we have that ability now, like the internet has made getting knowledge so much easier. And I'm really grateful for that ability to just be like, oh, if I want to know something, I can just be like, type it in and I can find out, and it would just be really easy. That's like a really huge accomplishment to do. And that's fantastic. And I'm really grateful for that ability. Yeah. I think this is going to be the thing with this new segment of gratitude of the week. It's just going to be like, you end it with a, oh, yeah, that's really nice. High pitch. Oh, yeah. So what are we going to do next week, Simone? What's on the docket?
So next week we are getting right back into a favorite genre of both of ours, which is movie musicals.
Hey, love them. Love them.
We're breaking formula a teeny tiny bit, and I'll tell you why. We're going to do The Greatest Showman because it got 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think it deserves much more, and I'm here to defend it.
I think you'll have to convince me, because I'm not a huge fan of the film. I also, for 4 months, had to sing This Is the Greatest Show, so I'm very sort of twitchy about this film.
Yeah,
so
I suppose that's fair.
Yeah, but I'm excited for you to try and change my mind. That should be fun.
And then we're going to do the 2009 movie 9, starring Penelope Cruz, Fergie, Nicole Kidman, bunch of other people.
Very exciting. Very, very exciting. Now, I remember for the last musical movie episode, I sang the intro. So I'm expecting big things from you next week.
I don't think our listeners need that. This is an audio medium.
Well, I mean,
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, just like you're trying to push the agenda to get Greatest Showman on this podcast, I'm going to push the agenda to get you to sing.
We sang a bunch in our New Year's episode. I don't know if we recall, but we hummed a couple bars of Hercules like several times.
I have not finished the episode yet, but whew, wow. I'm not surprised we sang. I'm not surprised.
Can only apologize, guys.
Yikes on bikes. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. What are you grateful for this week? What movies have you been watching? What TV shows have you been watching? I know with the turn of the year, with the new year coming in, there's some good stuff out there now. We got Sabrina, which is very exciting times. We got new seasons across the board, and we're coming into Oscar season. So if that's your vibe, tell us what movies you're looking forward to for that. And where can the people do that, Simone?
They can talk to us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. They can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com.
Perfect. And as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Bye. Bye.